Well, our next guest on Getting Up to Speed is a young man from California's Central Coast. It's Kaleb Montgomery, talking about his time in the family car as well as driving for Keller Motorsports in 2023. We discuss a lot of things, including the history of his area, as well as a lot of Formula One stuff. He's a very big enthusiast for F1. That's next here on Getting Up to Speed. This broadcast is brought to you by Meat Freaks Jerky Club. Get the best jerky the world has to offer straight to your door by visiting meatfreaksjerkyclub.com. Pick your box and plan, tell them where to ship, and receive and enjoy. Log on to meatfreaksjerky.com and use promo code SPEED. Are you looking for bookkeeping, payroll, or income tax services? Then check out the folks at For You Simple Bookkeeping. They are a licensed tax preparer throughout the entire United States. For more information, click on the link in the description. Well, he's joining me now, and he is probably just as much of a Formula One fan as I am. We're going to be talking about in this interview. It is Kaleb Montgomery out of Templeton. Hey, Kaleb, it's great to have you on here.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me. This is pretty cool. I always like doing these phone calls and just talking to people about racing. And then you mentioned Formula One. I did not know that you were a Formula One fan. Actually, scratch that. I'm pretty sure I watched you at an Oregon Speed Week show, and you had an Aston Martin or Red Bull shirt on.
Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Repping
my I got it right.
Yeah, I'm repping my guy from, even though it was for Sebastian Vettel, for all when he was a part of that team. You know, I'm liking Aston Martin. My guy Alonso, he was my guy that I watched a lot when I was a kid, when he was, let's see, who did he win in 05 and
McLaren?
06? Renault, I think.
Oh, yes, he did win the championship with them.
Blue and yellow cars. Yeah, he was teammates with Jarno Trulli back in the day. And obviously he went, I think, McLaren, then Ferrari, and you know, has had some different stints, and now he's at Aston Martin, and my goodness, like he's a podium machine now. It's wonderful.
Yeah, out of nowhere, dude. And you were there when they were actually terrible. So I mean,
sure,
you definitely weren't a part of the Alonso train that's coming out right now. But
yeah,
heck, they went from the worst car to the best, or one of the best cars.
Well, I mean, I'm a huge James Bond fan. I can't go against Aston Martin. I mean, that's iconic with the 1964 movie Thunderball, where he's...
Ooh, that's a little bit before me, so I couldn't tell you, but
yeah,
I believe it. That definitely sounds like a James Bond car.
Yeah. I might have got my yes, I think I got my year right on that one. Anyways, Thunderball, it's a really good movie, and it's got the Aston Martin in there. No, it was 1965. So what am I talking about?
Oh wow, way before my time.
Yeah. But anyways, look at us. We're already off topic. But last year, not too bad for you. You raced a lot. 42. I had you down for 42 features, producing 17 top 10s, 8 top 5s, 6 podiums. Got 2 wins. The majority of year was spent in 360 competition. 31 starts there. 15 top 10s, all of your top 5s were there, all your podiums in those 2 victories, one at Kings and one at Placerville.
Yeah, I mean, you wrapped it up pretty cleanly right there, but from my perspective, I'd kind of like to put that year behind me. I mean, you made it sound a little bit better than it sounds in my head on paper, but
sure.
Yeah, it wasn't a year I was particularly fond of. I didn't make the best decisions, and we didn't build my car right, and I wasn't driving with the right headspace. I think a lot of things weren't going for me last year, and it showed with my results. I didn't get the results that I really wanted to, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'll keep on racing no matter what the results are, because as a kid that once just dreamed of driving a sprint car, I'm glad to even be here. So, I mean, we definitely had a good season last year. Can't shake a stick at it, but it's definitely not one that I'm very proud of, and I would like to be better in the years to come.
And then also last year you had 10 starts and 4 10s, 1 top 10, produced in the 410 category at the place where Narc is kicking everything off, King Speedway.
Yeah, I do. I really like Hanford. What most people probably don't know about me is when I first started racing, that was kind of my Placerville or my ocean, so to say, as people use it now. Like Hanford used to say, I want to say they had like 18 local shows a year, just 360 shows. And that was primarily what I'd run in the beginning. Sure. I would just run Hanford strictly, and I feel very comfortable there. And I'm really excited to go there with the Keller Motorsports this weekend with the Hanford, or not with the man. with the 410 under the hood. But
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. I don't have the most 410 experience, but the only way I'm going to get better is by keep on doing it.
Yeah, no doubt. And especially at that place too. It's a speed factory. And it races really wide too. I really enjoy watching the races there.
Ooh, yeah, it is. You said it. It is a speed factory. I mean, I remember I ran my first race there. Like you said, that was my only top 10 in the 410, but I ran there and it was wild. I mean,
Hmm.
it wasn't unmanageable or crazy or anything, but the speed difference from the 360 to the 410 at Hanford is just unbelievable. And then I think I went to Tulare for the Outlaw show, and I thought Tulare was going to be much more of a challenge for myself, but with the 410 under the hood, but it actually wasn't that bad compared to Hanford. Hanford's just fast, even comparative to Tulare. It's way faster,
Hmm. You know,
or at
like,
least from inside of the cockpit.
yeah, I was talking with somebody on one of these getting up to speeds, and and actually, it's not the first person to say that you run to Larry, you're running the boards, and outside looking in, like watching from the stands, is like, oh my gosh, I mean, it's got to be like insane and everything. But these drivers were telling me actually it slows down. It looks like you're going a million miles an hour, sawing on the wheel and everything, but it slows things down. Is that true for your case?
I mean, I would say yes, definitely. At times, you are sawing on the wheel and you're slapping the wall, and it doesn't feel comfy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Slapping a cushion never feels awesome, but
Sure.
Tulare, there's something about it where the straightaways are really long and you feel like you're booking the mail down the straightaway. But once you get to the corner, it's I don't know something about the 180, the hairpin.
Sure.
It just slows down as comparative to Hanford, where I feel like you're just building the wing speed. You're trying to keep up all the momentum that you possibly can run on the high side, and you never lose that momentum. Whereas at Tulare, I feel like you kind of got to shut it down and then turn the car around and go back down the other straight. So, I mean, they definitely both have features that are treacherous, like running the curb super fast at Hanford. If it's big, whew, nothing compares to that, but nothing in the same respect compares to getting your right rear actually up on the fence at Tulare.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, laying, getting some tire degradation going up on the wall. So,
Oh, yeah. It
um,
feels awesome inside of the cockpit, let me tell you.
yeah, yeah. Win at Placerville though last year in 360 competition. That isn't something small to note. That's a big deal because that place is a major hub when it comes to regular Saturday night action for 360 sprints.
Yeah, I mean, Placerville has produced drivers such as Justin and Shane, and I mean, when it comes to California, I don't think there's much better than those two. I mean, we got Dominic, but those guys came from running Placerville weekly. I mean, especially Justin, but
Hmm.
that's a track that I don't feel like I mesh with very well. And thanks to the X1 in the beginning of my 2021 season, I actually got a lot of local laps and just a lot of laps in general. And working with Alan, they actually gave me a little bit of insight as just from their point of view outside of the race car, just how to run Placerville a little bit better. So that definitely helped me at Placerville a lot more. And then coming into this season, I got to get into my car twice this year at Placerville, and I feel like all those laps only boosted my confidence for getting into my car where I feel really comfortable and at home. But it's still not a track that I mesh very well with because, like you said, the curb it gets super slick. It's rough sometimes. It's got a
Hmm.
lot of characteristics.
Lap traffic.
It's different.
Yeah, lap traffic can get dicey.
Oh yeah, lap traffic gets very thick in Placerville because you got guys running the top and you got guys running the bottom. And
Yeah.
at a bull ring like that, you can't really cut across the slick and generate momentum to slide or split the two of them. So you're usually stuck, or you got to come up with something on the cuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you guys had I think it was the SCCT race, had a pretty fast piece for much of that race a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah, that was awesome.
It may be difficult to talk about, so I'm sorry if I bring that up in a bad way. I don't mean it to be
Oh
brought
no,
up in a bad way, but yeah, you guys were cruising.
yeah, no. It actually felt really good, even though the results and the books don't show it. I feel really confident after that showing. Like I said, I'm not very confident at Placerville just because I don't have that many laps there.
Hmm.
But I mean, yeah, looking back on it, just to have that speed there for the first SCCT show right out of the rip. I mean, my setup, my car, it's good, but it's not to where it can be. We can definitely get this thing better and going faster. But in hindsight, I think I need to run my features a little bit better and make better decisions. But heck, that'll all come with time. I'm just learning right now.
Yeah, yes, no doubt. And for 2023, Still running the family car, the 3 car, but then teaming back up with the Keller Motorsports number 2 entry. And what's that going to be looking like for kind of the rest of the season?
Well, as I said, I told you off the air that I'm kind of as a free agent, or I like to weigh my options. So, I mean, with the Killers, we are going to be running primarily 410 stuff, but as we did last weekend, I mean, Stockton rained out, so we went to Ventura because Brent and Mike really wanted to race, and they're not scared to shy away from non-wings. So, heck, we'll take the wings off. But as a schedule, I would say, yeah, we're going to primarily run the NARC stuff. But if anything rains out or anything pops up that catches our eyes, I mean, we'll go over there. We'll run an Ocean Local. We'll run Placerville. I'll run my car at Placerville or SCCT shows. I'll just try and get as many shows in as I possibly can. But yeah, for the most part, with the Kellers, I will be running as many 410 shows as I possibly can.
Awesome. And I'm a curious cat sometimes. How did that whole partnership work out? Like what got the dialogue going to get you in that ride?
Well, for starters, we don't really live that far away. So I've always been close with Mike. Every time I see him at the racetrack, I'd always talk to him. I always frankly told him also that if anything ever happened, I would love to drive the race car and just give me that phone call if anything ever happens. And something just, I don't know what happened, but them and JJ fell through and they needed a driver for the next couple of races. And they're racers at heart. So they really wanted to go race, I think Watsonville it was, the first weekend we got together. And I wasn't doing anything that weekend. And I was like, sure, let's go race it. And it's kind of morphed into what it is now, where I'm their full-time guy running the 410 stuff, and hopefully a little bit of non-wing here and there. We'll dabble and maybe go up to Skagit. We'll see what the season has to offer us. But yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. You guys ran, or you ran kind of a home game for you. Santa Maria Raceway finished 7th with the USAC CRA. That had to make you feel kind of good. A track that's not too far away.
Yeah, I really like Santa Maria. I mean, the track wasn't very good the last time we went there, and it really wasn't good when the midgets went there after us. I really hope they step up their game for the next few races coming up. But, I mean, I have all the belief that they can, and they will. But I wasn't very happy with that seventh place finish. I wasn't very happy with my 410 motor at the time either. I got rid of it. We got a new motor. I wasn't very comfortable in my non-wing car. It wasn't up to snuff with our new standards of things that we've been doing. But, I mean, heck, for my first time in a 410 non-wing in my own stuff, it wasn't anything to shake a stick at. It was definitely a good showing. I got good laps. I got some more 410 seat time. But I would like to I'd like to be better than 7th at those races that are close to home. I won the 360 race, I think, that was there a couple of years ago. I couldn't even tell you what year, 2019 possibly, is the last time they had a 360 non-wing show there. But we won that, and I would like to keep that momentum going and continue to win Santa Maria shows, because Santa Maria it's very close to my heart. Growing up watching my dad race there, and that's where all my early memories of racing really is Santa Maria. So I feel like it's a special place in my heart, and I really want to get some wins there.
Yeah, no doubt. That's one place that I'm going to a lot of different places this year. It's one I was talking to Jim Allen with NARC. I'm like, hey, like that would be, you like to go to Pismo Beach. It's like it's right there. So
the weather's great down here.
Yeah, I know that it's got such a storied history with non-wing racing, the Bandits, and with USAC, but I think it'd be at least one weekend really cool to go there. So, but
oh yeah, I love it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I also love it because it's 45 minutes from my house, and I believe I'm missing one cooler race in a wing car to go and run non-wing there. I don't think it's a 410 show. It might be an SCCT show or something, but there's a non-wing 360 and 410 show there this year, and those are definitely high up on my list. I'm going to be going to those.
Yeah, yeah. And so for listeners that don't know, where the heck is Templeton, California? It's on the Central Coast, at least that's the way I sort of designate it as. And Templeton is right next to, and we were talking about this off air. It's Paso Robles, not Paso Robles, right?
I mean,
or tomato.
I mean, yeah, tomato. I mean, I've grown up here in
San Pedro. So.
Yeah, some people in Paso get really upset if you don't say Paso Robles, or some people say that's goofy. You need to be saying Paso Robles. But yeah, it's the same thing. I've always grown up saying Paso Robles just because I don't want I don't want to put that extra little tang on it with that Paso Robles, but if
Yeah.
someone says it,
Yeah. It depends on whose side of the turf you're on that day.
yeah,
So,
exactly. But I
um,
mean, we're all within a 15-minute radius down here, so it's all just
sure.
the same area.
Sure. Yeah, and for you guys to get to I was looking at it on a map the other day, and it's just kind of not quite a straight shot to Hanford. I think what the 41 Route 41 whatever that is goes
Yep.
directly spills into Templeton and then comes in Lemoore, right on the 198.
Yeah, I mean, you could take it all the way up to Lemoore, but I mean, we kind of have a little shortcut since we've been going there.
Sure.
Heck, since 2016 or 2015 when we started watching the sprint car races there. But
Yeah.
we've developed a little cut through the pastures. But
Yeah.
that's probably about my second closest track. It's only like an hour 45 away. But
Yeah.
with as often as I drive those roads, heck, I'll just drive up there to go and see my buddy Zane Blanchard and hang out in Hanford. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's not that far, and it's an easy drive for me.
Well, and I don't know how much of a connection this is to you, but I know with me, Templeton has a pretty sentimental spot because my wife, when she was alive, we went down El Camino Real, all the way from
Really?
Santa Rosa, yeah, from Santa Rosa to Ventura to go watch Turkey Night, and we were cruising through Templeton, and she's like, "This is the only place I will buy because she was big into rabbit breeding and rabbit shows. It's got the best, and this is a plug for them, the best rabbit feed like in the world. It's like one of the most top
No
shelf quality.
way.
Yeah, and it's called
That's
Templeton.
crazy.
I think it's just called Templeton Feed. I think it's just
Yeah,
simple.
Templeton Feed and Grain. It's literally right across from the high school that I used to go to. And El Camino, I mean, heck, there's back roads that I can get there that we ride our quads on to go to the riverbed and have some fun on the weekends when we're not racing.
Yeah.
Those are all my roads right there. That's awesome. No way. Small world.
Yeah, no. I remember she was going to get big into it, and she was also going to work a deal with them of like, hey, we'd be a distributor for you guys up here and stuff like that. But obviously that didn't work out. But yeah, no. So Templeton, like I said, it's got a soft spot for me, and the El Camino Real is definitely a beautiful drive and slow, which is slang for San Luis Obispo, which is not too far from you. That's like the next town down on the 101. That's a special place in my heart too with her. So
Yeah, downtown slow. I mean, it's crazy now. You probably wouldn't. It's probably been quite some years since you came down here, but I mean, man, it's different now. I mean, it's not different in a bad way. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
They've revamped Paso and San Luis and our once tiny little town where I could walk around at night and go from the ice cream parlor to the park. I mean, it's changing into something way more with downtown bars and a nightlife and people coming down here. It's crazy.
Yeah. I remember we stopped in Slow twice. My wife had some relatives that used to actually work at the university there, Cal Poly, and
Really?
they were in like the IT department. So we had lunch with them at this great little, bar and grill. But then that was on our way back. On our way down to Turkey Night, we stopped at we didn't stay there, but the Madonna Hotel, where
Yep, that place is beautiful.
every room is different. It's a different decor, different wallpaper, different carpet, and it's amazing. And they've had like John Wayne and all these celebrities from Hollywood would stay there. So really cool deal.
Yeah, and if you ever get the chance, I mean, climbing up Madonna Mountain is also a sight to see. It's crazy. You can overlook San Luis and see the grade. That is one unique location right there.
Now, if I remember,
hopefully Santa Maria gets a KWS race, and then you can come down here again.
Exactly. I'll stay in Templeton, and then I'll hang out in Slow. So I'll make all the spots. And if I remember, the guy whose last name was Madonna, he was instrumental in a lot of the road construction. I don't know if it was 101, but it was definitely with the interstates. Like he was an engineer, excavator, or whatever, and definitely was probably making some coin, no doubt, by building the roads of what we still travel on.
Oh yeah, there is a lot of history behind that. My old boss for appraising houses, what I did before the real estate market took a little bit of a spiral around where I live. He would always rant about the Madonna and the 41. Apparently, there's a lot of cool history between those roads and the making of all these roads, and a lot of scamming going on too that went on. So there's a lot of cool, rich history down here that not a lot of people know because it's just a tiny little remote town.
Well, and I'm a history, a nut, I guess you could say, like perhaps maybe too obsessed, but El Camino Real is probably the first highway mass travel in the well before the United States was even around, like in the 1700s, from the Spanish. And like every I think it was every 40 miles there was a mission. That's why we have San Diego, San Clemente, San Luis Obispo, San Francisco, and each every 40 miles people would travel and they'd stop there, and it was the first motel system. And it goes obviously from the U.S. Mexican border, and I think it stops. I forgot where it stops. I want to think Santa Rosa area, but I think I'm wrong on that. But somewhere it goes north. It goes to San Francisco Bay Area, and it's an amazing story of just how much history the Central Coast has.
Yeah, man, you really hit the nail on the head right there. That was good.
Oh yeah,
That was impressive.
that
Your
was
history and your race stats are pretty spectacular, I gotta say.
that was my history hat. So I'm taking it off for the viewers that are on the fence of about to turn things off here. So, but it's I was going back to how we started this thing off. Formula One. You were on Pete's Pub with Max Mitri,
Oh yeah.
the last one, and I think we were briefly conversing about it because I think you were drinking a Red Bull, and I made mention
Yep.
of I don't know if he's Team Checo or Team Max, but he's here supporting Red Bull F1. So
Oh, big Checo fan over here. Even
yeah,
though he stuffed it in the freaking
yeah.
oh in qualifying, just ruined it. That made me very upset.
Well, and then he was recovering great at Australia, which was a dog and pony show a little bit, not due to really anything. It was just insane racing with all those red flags, though. I was like, holy mackerel! Like,
Yeah, that
okay,
was one for the history books.
it's a well, yeah, especially the part where they were arguing for 30 minutes. They brought everybody to the grid, and they're like, okay, the race is over, but we're going to put you in line and you're going to take a parade lap if you can from that last wreck, just so that we can categorize everybody. And like the Haas guys were all fired up. They're like, just in the race. Like, we can't go, our cars are wrecked. So yeah, no. And then Checo got a big win at Jeddah, right? Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, the street circuit menace.
Oh man,
And we're going to Baku for the next race up. Checo's gonna close that gap to Verstappen.
yeah, no doubt. And Verstappen had to come from the back and rally to P2. I mean, holy
And we're gonna
holy
see
smokes.
some Vettel and Weber action coming up here pretty
Oh,
soon. I
for
hope.
sure, yeah.
That's
Yeah, what was the code word? Like there was the strategy, and Weber got all mad cuz Vettel passed him and he wasn't supposed to. They were telling him back off so Weber could win. It was
oh yeah,
it was kind of like the beginning of the end of Weber. Like, I think I'm done. So
yeah. Webble or not Webble. Vettel didn't really sit right with Weber.
yeah, correct. Which
But as Vettel would say, he was faster. He passed him, and he won.
yeah. Well, and what's cool about Weber, a lot of guys don't know this. I read his autobiography, or most of it, anyways. Um, Big sprint car fan, major sprint car
Really?
fan. Yeah, yeah. I was actually talking this with Peter Murphy. So Pete and I, he, you know how Peter Murphy works in mysterious ways. Sometimes he
Yep, for
texted me
sure.
like at 10 o'clock, the Friday night of qualifying. It was qualifying. I'm like, what is he talking about? I'm like, oh, Australian GP. So we watched it, together and everything. And then, the next night, Alonso's going to win this race. And I was busy on a walk and I finished it up. And like George Russell was leading and gravel was on the track. And they brought Russell in and they threw the red flag and everybody, and he pitted already. And like, it was like I said, it was a dog and pony show. It was crazy.
Oh yeah. There
Um,
was there was a lot of things just getting meshed into one race that I don't think I've ever seen that before.
But going back to Pete, he's like, I met him at Knoxville one year. Like, he showed up and watched. And in his autobiography, he talks about going to it must have been Parramatta in Parramatta City Speedway, which eventually became Valvoline Raceway, which is since closed. Um, and now they've moved things over to Eastern Creek. But he in this book he talks about watching Steve Kinzer race and coming over, Sammy Swindell, and
Wow.
George Tatnall, of course, was around. Brooke had to have been around, and Gary Brazier, some of those guys. It was a really cool read. I really I liked him anyways,
Huh.
because he's a cool drove for Jaguar back in the day, and actually drove for Mercedes in their Le Mans series deal, and then that went sour. So,
Huh?
but
Do you by chance have that book? Because
I
I'd be
do.
willing to trade you a. I just read an autobiography on Adrian Newey, the designer of Red Bull.
Oh yeah,
And I'd be willing to do a trade.
sure, yeah. I will find you in Hanford, and we'll make a trade. If not, I'll find you at Tulare, and we'll make a trade. So
Oh heck yeah! I'm
yeah,
intrigued.
yeah. Like I said, I don't think I finished it, so there's gonna be like a receipt or something from like Target. So so
Ah,
that's
okay.
my bookmarker. So
That's
but
just about like me. I'll be sketching up something for the race car because I'm reading an F1 book, just thinking I'm smart, and
sure.
then I'll never use that sketch, and that'll be used as my bookmark.
There you go. There you go. So, but yeah, for you, for team news, for any sort of schedule, upcoming races for you, what's the best way for folks to look that up?
Well, for me personally, I might as well say this. I operate in like a 2 week window. So I know that I'm going to Hanford this weekend, and then the following weekend is hopefully going to be double duty 2 days at Tulare. If I can find some help, or if I can, I don't know. We'll just see how that goes at Tulare. But those are my next two races because that's the 2 week window that I operate in. But for the most part, the Kellers have a schedule, or they should have a schedule out for the 410 stuff. They have the Keller Motorsports racing page on Facebook, which they post, or Fast Time Media. He's usually on it, but he knows my 2 week operating window. Because when it comes to my 3 team, I kind of just put every single race in California, wing, non-wing, national, doesn't matter. I put it all on a schedule and I just hang it up on a pin
Mm-hmm.
and I look at it and I favorite it on my phone. So that way I just know what's coming up in the next 2 weeks. And that's how I operate with my stuff. But yeah, as I said, the Kellers should have a schedule out for most of the 410 stuff. But yeah, I should be at most of the races in California. I plan on running as much as I possibly can. That allows me to. The only thing I know that I'm not going to, as of right now, is Oregon Speed Week because my sister will be home that week,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to spend some time with her since she's always away at college.
Sure.
And yeah, that's all that I really know for an official statement on from my standpoint. But if you guys are curious as to know where I'm going next, Fast Time Media is always on it. You can give him a follow. He's always posting about me and a bunch of other drivers, or Keller Motorsports on Facebook.
Awesome. And apparel, is that a at the track sort of deal, or do you guys do online
Ooh.
sales?
So the Kellers do have shirts. They are Keller Racing shirts. They always have those at the racetrack. We got hoodies, shirts, and we also have 805 merch. We got, I don't think any shirts left, but we have hats. We got koozies. We got just a lot of things to represent the 805 because, as you know, that's where we're from, born and raised.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to move anywhere else.
Yeah. They have a
Um,
brewery there, right?
oh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
that's the other thing that my wife said is that's some of the best some of the best handcrafted beer.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not a big handcrafted beer because I had a couple too many sours one night at that place,
Sure.
and it didn't turn out too good for me. So I've kind of strayed away from those strong IPAs or those tangy tasting ones.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they got really good sides. They got really excellent food. They're in Firestone in San Luis. It's phenomenal. But for the beer aspect of things, they really do have a lot of variety. My personal favorite is the Cal Poly Special. That's the best beer because it's light and it tastes like a mix between a Busch and kind of a Budweiser, if I had to say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, not too good beers to pair together, but if you try it, you'll kind of understand.
Yeah. But you said you have 805 apparel, right?
Oh, yeah, we have some 805 shirts. Those usually run pretty thin because people snatch up those hats and they snatch up the koozies really quick. But for shirts and hoodies, we have a plethora of those for Keller Motorsports. Me personally, though, I don't have any Kaleb Montgomery racing shirts or any 3 merch. That will be within the seasons to come. I would like to get on top of that. I've been talking to Tanner about that and how to manage and do it correctly. But yeah, for right now, that's what we got.
Awesome. And any sponsors, any people specifically you want to thank, whether it's your family car or the Keller's entry?
Ooh, I mean, first and foremost, I'd always like to thank Luxton. That's my mom's real estate company. If you guys are ever trying to sell some houses, hit her up because Luxton pays for the race car and David Cry gets me out there. And that's who my dad works for. He gives us a truck and some diesel to get myself to and from the races. Quick shout out to Michael Sellers with Bullseye Design and Print. He hooks it up. Even though my car doesn't display it very well, he does some elegant designs and he can pretty much do anything from shirt designs to race car designs. And he's been with me from the very beginning. So like my pink and blue car, anything that you see that's really vibrant, that was all him. And he's been killing it ever since the beginning. But for the Kellers, I'd like to thank Mike and Brent for just putting up with me a lot, because I'm not the most pleasant person to work with 24/7. I get hangry, and if I don't nap or if I don't get enough sleep, I'm a little angry sometimes. But for the most part, we all stick together and we all love each other. But at the Kellers, we'd like to thank Monarch Ford and Crown Limousines, Porter Construction, Quick Change Energy Drinks, and I'm not the best with the sponsors, but hopefully I'll get better with that with some future podiums and being a little bit more diligent about remembering it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you this year.
Heck yeah, I look forward to talking some F1 with you at the KWS races this year.
No doubt, no doubt. We'll definitely be, that's going to be probably our first topic of conversation every time we see each other.
Heck yeah, I look forward to it.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this latest episode of Getting Up to Speed with me, Ben Dethridge. We hope you enjoyed this program. We hope also that you hit the subscribe button and the like button, as that really helps things out, spreads things out. Be sure and share as well on social media so that more people can listen to these great interviews and from these great drivers. Getting Up to Speed is a production of Highside Racing Promotions. For more information, you can check it all out on Facebook at Highside Promotions.